think they're going to be a winning football team this year. I think they have a tremendous offensive personnel, though some injuries in camp. And so I thought, what 10 players or 10 people in the NFL, to me, have the most pressure this year? Who's got the most pressure in the NFL? So here's my top 10 facing the most pressure this year. Here we go.
Number 10.
I would say Cam Newton, not a ton, but he is a star, and he had no market for him when he was on the market. There was no market for him. His former coach didn't take him. They took Kyle Allen. He's lost his last 8 starts. There are people that thought it was just injuries, why his mechanics went down, but there was a little bit of a stigma around Cam. Can't take criticism well, not a winning quarterback. This is important. Now, I think the personnel he has around him is nothing, but I do think there's some pressure for him to be a good leader, to show he's coachable, and by the way, to stay healthy, because he's been dinged up a lot. A lot of eyes on Cam.
Number 9.
Tom Brady. I think there's more pressure on Brady. First of all, he had his worst completion percentage year in 7 years. And Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and all these tight ends, this is a stacked offense. Now, I'm not saying they can go 8-8, but he has got to look good, because Tom didn't look good last year, and this offensive roster is absurdly talented. So I think even more than Cam, I think Tom Brady, to prove his critics wrong, because there's a lot of people on this network that are like, he's shot, it's over. I don't think it is. I thought Eli Manning was shot. I don't think Brady's shot, but there are a lot of people out there, people I respect, saying he's not the same dude. A lot of pressure on Tom.
Number 8.
Ben Roethlisberger. Okay, this is a guy that historically, we know this. He doesn't work out hard in the offseason. Russell Wilson does. Brady does. Ben can be kind of like dad in the offseason. I'm going to hang out, go to the lake, go to this and that. Also, it's time for Ben to get along with teammates, younger teammates. A lot of drama here with Ben. I think Ben comes in and struggles with another teammate, more drama. People are going to say, dude, you're 38. You're not in good shape. I think there's some pressure on Ben.
Number 7.
Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he has to win back the trust of his coach, because I think his coach took the football out of his arm in the playoffs. If you go look at his completion percentage went down in the playoffs, his yards per game went down in the playoffs, his passer rating went down in the playoffs. So what that tells me is they were not building offenses around him. The coaching staff had questions about Jimmy G. So there's some pressure in the building. There were also the Brady trade rumors. There's pressure on Jimmy in the building. Does Kyle trust you in big spots? Right now, I'm not sure he does.
Number 6.
Pete Carroll. Your offensive line now is a joke. Your defenses are in the toilet. So now, you can no longer say, hey, Pete's got the defense fixed. No, it's bad. Defensive line is ranked worst in the NFL. And the offense, for years, everybody now analytically is going, God, the offense is like 1988. There's some pressure on Pete now. Pete's got all the power there. He controls the draft. He controls the personnel. And the personnel in the O&D lines is garbage. It's garbage. So this Jamal Adams trade better work.
Number 5.
Aaron Rodgers. Now, less pressure this morning now that we hear Jordan Love is terrible at practice. But let's be honest about Aaron Rodgers. His completion percentage has declined in each of the last 3 years. He has worn out some teammates. The McCarthy thing, story's out now. It wasn't all Mike McCarthy. Aaron's still talented, but he's got to stay healthy. He's got to get along with his coach. He's got to make this thing work. He doesn't have to help Jordan Love. That part I think is unfair. You can't ask him to worry about the evolution of Jordan Love. But I do think for Aaron, in 16 games, are we going to be like, he's not a top 5 guy anymore? Too prickly, not the same guy. A lot of people, a lot of stories in The Athletic recently. Secret sauce is gone. Some pressure on him.
Number 4.
Dak Prescott, I think that's obvious. He got a new coaching staff. It's a lot of economic pressure. Is Dak going to get the massive offer? It really is more, because we know he's a good guy. We know he's a good leader. We know he's capable. We know he can get to the playoffs. I don't think he has to have a playoff run. But does Mike McCarthy go, okay, I'm gonna, this is my guy for 5 years. Jerry, sign him to a fat contract. It's a kind of economic pressure for Dak Prescott.
Number 3.
Derek Carr. I like him way more than his coach does. I think he's very talented. I think he's Tony Romo. Not quite as athletic, but Tony Romo. But let's be honest here. He has a losing record in 5 of 6 seasons. He's getting a reputation as won't let go of the football, will not let it rip, and Gruden likes quarterbacks who let it rip. So they brought in Marcus Mariota for a reason, to put pressure on Derek Carr. It's real.
Number 2.
Adam Gase. Can you get along with one star? Didn't get along with Jamal Adams. Didn't get along with his defensive coordinator. It's not Sam Darnold. Folks, people like Sam Darnold. Everybody in the room likes Sam Darnold. Joe Douglas, the GM, did not hire Adam Gase. Joe Douglas, I know Joe Douglas. He loves Sam Darnold. Players love Sam Darnold. Owner likes Sam Darnold. Fans like Sam Darnold. Adam Gase got to win. He doesn't get along with anybody. And I got news for you. You got to, it may not be the NBA, but you got to get along with some of your stars. Like one.
Number 1.
Baker Mayfield. I've been saying this now for a year. Everybody's finally saying Cleveland's talent is absurd. Folks, I can make an argument after Kansas City. They may have the best offensive talent. Tackles, receivers, running backs, tight ends. There is way too much talent here. Baker's got to win at least 9 games. I'm not asking to win 12. I'm not asking to win the division. Baker's got to get his act together. This is a stacked offense. Both tackles and their center, and they have a guard. They have 4 legit offensive linemen, 2 star receivers, 2 good tight ends, 2 good running backs. And this coaching staff is not going to put up with any nonsense. Like, this is his, 3rd, 4th coach. They're done with the nonsense. A lot of pressure on Baker. And I do think he will deliver to a certain level. We haven't had De'Aaron Fox on. Last time De'Aaron Fox was here, he was in the studio. He wore glasses. He looked like a professor. He was professorial.